Greetings, ladies and gentlefish. This is a quick little video for you, and it just spurned from a bit of curiosity. So, I'm in a training room with one of my platoon mates, Gleb, who you can see over there is driving the ELC AMX. He was curious. He's got a pretty badass crew on his ELC, and he wanted to see at what range he would be spotted by a tank with a 500 meter view range. So, for those who don't know, World of Tanks spotting mechanics are such that your view range indicates how far away you can see people, fairly obviously. But that's not the only factor to be taken into account. You also have a camouflage value on the enemy tank. Generally speaking, the smaller the tank, the sneakier it is, the better the camouflage value. So this means that kind of view range and camouflage are sort of these competing stats, if you will. So, he was curious how close he could get to a tank with a 500 meter view range. Now, 500 meters is the maximum view range that you can have in the game. However, the spotting distance, i.e. the distance at which you can actually see an enemy vehicle, is capped at something like 445 meters. But any view range you have above and beyond that eats into the enemy's camo value, if that makes sense. So while you can only spot a vehicle at a maximum of 445 meters, if you have a higher and higher view range, you will spot a stealthier vehicle further and further away, up to that limit. So thus, we get into this training room. Gleb, as I mentioned, has a very badass crew. Something stupid like he's working on his 3rd crew skill, I can't actually remember. And I think the camouflage crew of that tank, combined camouflage, is sitting up at about 95%. I'm in the Carnarvon. The Carnarvon has a base view range of 400 meters, and when you give it binocular telescopes, that adds 25% to that. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit, taking it up to that 500 meter limit. So, we're in a training room here on Malinovka. I'm going up to this region that just overlooks the watery section, and Gleb's going to approach me from across the field. So I'm just letting him know when my when my binoculars go up, and that's a replay derp. Apologies about that. And we're going to see how close this guy gets, or how close Gleb gets to me, before I actually spot him. So binocular telescopes are up. Gleb is now slowly coming towards me from across the field, and there you can see I get spotted, and I'm actually using a camo net because reasons, why the hell not? But I've actually been spotted, and there, if memory serves, Gleb actually fired the gun. And he is at a distance of 335 meters. So at 335 meters, if the ELC AMX, with a pretty badass crew, in the open, fires the gun, I will spot him. But that was only if he fires his gun. What about if he doesn't? So, we let Gleb re-stealth. And Gleb is not using a camo net, I would like to point out, and he's not going to be using any of the concealment available to him. He's just sitting out in the open. Still coming. Still coming. I haven't spotted him yet. There we go. I spot him. And that is at a distance of 309 meters. So we just do a little bit of jockeying about with position to try and get the exact distance at which I will actually spot him. Backs off. Backs off. He's currently at 312 meters, so he's up to 315, and he disappears. So again, he's just going to slowly edge forwards from that point. There we go. 312, he's spotted. And so it seems, there we go, he re-stealths at 313. And then reappears at 311. So it seems that sitting out in the middle of an open field with no camo net, but with a pretty good camo crew, against a tank with the highest view range in the game, I think it's the highest view range in the game anyway, it's a 500 meter view range, he can get to 311 meters away before he's actually spotted. Which is ridiculous. I mean, bearing in mind most vehicles are not going to get up to that view range. I've specifically picked one with a big view range and given it binoculars. On top of that, of course, Gleb could actually here make use of the concealment that's available. He could have mounted a camo net, for instance, and so there are ways of bringing this distance down. So it means in reality you can have an ELC that's less than 300 meters away from you, even with a 500 meter view range, and you just won't see him with the right setup. And now Gleb decides to run around a bit. He's a light tank, so he retains his camo rating on the move. I take a speculative shot, and voila. There we go. I just thought you might find it interesting to see just how sneaky you can be in one of those little light tanks. Now, of course, it's very unusual for someone to be going around in a tank with 400 meter view range and binocular telescopes. So, more likely than not, you are probably in an ELC, if you play it well, going to be able to sneak up on someone and get to easily within 300 meters, maybe within 250 meters before they spot you. Which is ridiculous. ELCs are stealthy little ninjas, and you need to pay them a lot of respect. Anyway, I hope you guys perhaps found that short little video vaguely interesting. I did, and hopefully it also gave a practical demonstration of some of the spotting mechanics in the game as they are at the moment. So, yeah. Please feel free, of course, if you found it interesting, to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. And I wish you, as ever, happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.